right, guys, we're moving along here in 2021. Lethal Performance Mustang King in the house for another edition of Tech Tips. Today, we're going to be going over clutch accessories. Yes, you guys are looking to do an aftermarket clutch. You want to make more power, want to go quicker at the track, okay? It's not just as easy as replacing the clutch itself. You actually need a couple other things, or at least that we recommend you guys install at the same time doing that clutch for optimum performance, okay? Because it's not just as simple as replacing a clutch in your car. You want to make more power, you want to go quicker at the track, you need to beef your clutch, okay? You don't just swap out the clutch by itself. There's some other things that we highly recommend you do to help improve how the clutch performs and the longevity of it, okay? So I'm going to start out with the 96 to 04 stuff since it's cable driven, and then we're going to move on to the 05 up stuff, which is actually a hydraulic system using a hydraulic bearing, all right? So here we go on the 99 to 04 stuff, all right? Some key components. We've got that clutch fork. Clutch fork. This is on your transmission. The cable hooks up to this, okay? Your clutch cable hooks up to this. When you press down on your clutch pedal, it's going to pivot this thing right here and allow it to put pressure on the fingers of the pressure plate there, allowing to engage or disengage the discs, all right? And why do we recommend this? First off, it's quite an inexpensive piece to replace, okay? These are also known, the factory ones, after a while, when you're beating on it, shifting like crazy, like Mr. Alan Garrett, the king up there in Alaska, or all the other guys out there who like that manual game, when you're beating on that clutch pedal nonstop and shifting and stuff, and you're banging gears, eventually they do start to bend, and that will affect, the radius and how your clutch actually engages. Okay, so replacing your factory clutch fork with a new one, an aftermarket one from Ford Performance here, is going to help make sure that the clutch is properly adjusted and also is going to engage the right way once you have that clutch cable and everything else all set up, all right? The other part to this, again, would be your clutch cable. We do sell a bunch of different aftermarket clutch cables, some adjustable ones, some non-adjustable ones. I typically recommend, and my guys recommend here, to always go with an OEM clutch cable. In my opinion, it's the best quality. There's no room for error with that, the actual adjustment feature on an aftermarket cable or anything like that. So we do recommend going with an OEM cable. All right. The other part of the cable game for the 99 to 04, the 96 to 04 guys, okay? You've got a firewall adjuster right here. This is the Mcleod click adjuster, and this mounts on your firewall actually inside the engine bay there, where the other portion of the cable will go down to the clutch pedal. Now this actually has a click adjustment to it. So once it's kind of locked in place, once you get that cable, it'll put tension on it or it'll actually loosen the cable to get you that proper adjustment that you want. And what's nice about it, that click design, is that once it's in place there, you can use this set screw to lock it, but it's got a better chance of not like unscrewing over time from vibration or just normal use on it, okay? So you've got that firewall clutch cable adjuster that you're going to need, and also under the pedal assembly is your quadrant. This is also where the cable rides down there on the clutch pedal assembly. The cable will come through the firewall there and go to the clutch pedal assembly, and this actually has a certain angle on it, like a ramp. Mcleod makes this one, which is the quick release one. It's really nice. It's designed after Fiore back in the day. Everyone remember Fiore, firewall click adjuster and quadrant, good stuff. Well, Mcleod now still holds that legacy and brings it on under the Mcleod name, all right? Very popular, and again, this is stuff that we always recommend when doing a clutch upgrade on a 96 to 04 Mustang, okay? We've got two different bearings involved here. You've got a throwout bearing, okay? And you've also got a pilot bearing, okay? These two things here, notorious for going out, okay? Cobra guys out there, feel me, all right? You hear that squeal, with the clutch pedal, and then you press the clutch pedal in a little bit, what is that? That's a bad throwout bearing, all right? This is what rides on the other end of that, the fork here on your input shaft, and to help actually engage and disengage those pressure plate fingers, all right? And what happens when it goes bad, it starts to squeal, okay? So we do like to recommend the Ford Performance M7548-A. It's a great product. It's reasonable in price, and it's actually worked out very good over the years to where we don't hear a lot of failures with it, all right? So again, cheap insurance, guys. No need to avoid doing this part. I mean, it makes sense for the money and the peace of mind, put it in there new once you're doing a clutch swap. The other one is going to be that pilot bearing, which rides on the end of the input shaft there. Another very inexpensive piece here. Why not put a fresh one in for Ford Performance so that you know that you're putting fresh stuff in there? Again, spend $1,000 on a clutch, pay someone $400 or $500 to install it. They install it, you drive away, you got a squeaky pedal because why? You know, you didn't put in a new throw-up bearing. So do it right from the beginning, put new components in, there you have it. All right, next up for the clutch components, we've got flywheel bolts. I have a hard time saying flywheel bolt. I say boats all the time because I'm just thinking about going boating, but these are actually bolts, B-O-L-T-S, and it's what used to mount the flywheel to the crank on your car. Inexpensive, again, put new stuff in. I've heard that these are torque to yield, one-time use bolts, so put them in from the beginning, and there you go. You don't have to worry about it. The other two components mainly apply to the 0304 Cobra guys, okay? Looking to put in a twin disc clutch kit, all right? 0304 Cobra guys in general, this is the throw-up bearing retainer sleeve on a T56, all right? This is on the front cover of the transmission. It goes actually through the front cover there and has a seal here, and the input shaft rides through here. What happens is the factory one is cheap, okay? Cobra guys notorious for knowing it. Besides the squeal with that throw-up bearing, you're also going to hear this rattle, and then your clutch isn't engaging properly. What the hell is it? It's your factory retainer sleeve that broke, because pretty much like tack welded here at the bottom. This is a solid piece right here. This is the Lethal Performance brand throw-up bearing retainer sleeve made of 4340 forged steel, and Mcleod also offers a very nice retainer sleeve upgrade. Makes sense to put this in. I mean, obviously, if you're doing a clutch and you're doing an input shaft swap and you're putting in a 26 spline input shaft, you got the front cover off of the transmission already. Might as well put this in, you know, peace of mind, and also again that you don't, you know, you're not putting something back with subpar components to where it breaks again on you, and you got to pay someone to drop that transmission again. So there you have it. And again, that's regarding again, if you mentioned the 26 spline input shaft, the Cobras 0304 Cobras do come with a 10 spline input shaft, which has 10 splines on that shaft there. They make an aftermarket one by Tremec, and we also carry a Lethal Performance branded 26 spline input shaft, which has 26 splines on it. It's going to disperse, you know, the shock on that input shaft better with a 26 spline. It's a stronger piece, and a lot of guys do upgrade to it. So when you do upgrade to a 26 spline clutch, you're putting in that input shaft, a great time to do that. And again, you will need a 26 spline clutch in order to work with that 26 spline input shaft, okay? And that last component right here I've got is this pivot ball, adjustable pivot ball. And this is very important for guys out there who are installing Mcleod RXTs or Lethal LPXs in their Cobras. Cobra's very finicky with that drive line like we're talking about. The bearings start to squeal, the actual retainer sleeves break. You also have weird adjustments with those twin discs in the Cobra, the T56. And this is the Mcleod specific for the 0304 Cobra pivot ball, which will allow you to get that proper adjustment so that the clutch, the fork, the cable, everything is engaging and disengaging properly, and it's installed right the first time so you don't have any problems, all right? Okay guys, moving along to the 05 and up clutch assembly and its accessories. The 05 and up Mustang uses a hydraulic slave cylinder bearing, whatever you want to call it, okay? It's not using a clutch cable going from the pedal to the clutch fork to help engage and disengage the clutch itself. It's using a hydraulic system. It's got a master cylinder inside your engine bay. There's fluid in it. There's a line going down to your clutch pedal and another line going to this bearing right here, which is your slave cylinder, which actually in the older cars, there you go. That's the throw-up bearing. This is no longer. The newer cars use this, okay? So, going over this system, a lot of the components are similar in the fact that, you know, speaking about the flywheel bolts, same thing. We recommend doing upgraded flywheel bolts when swapping out that clutch assembly. You've also got a pilot bearing, same thing. Inexpensive piece to replace at the time of doing the clutch upgrade, okay? Instead of having like a clutch cable though, again, we've got a few things involved in it. We've got this right here. This is your high volume clutch line from Mcleod. The reasoning for this, it's really nice, braided like stainless with a PTFE inner liner. It doesn't have flex to it, okay? The factory lines are made of rubber. What you're going to notice when installing this upgraded high volume clutch line is that you're going to have a better pedal feel to it. It's not going to be any type of mushy anything like that, because that rubber line does have some flex to it. So when you press on it and put pressure in that line there, the lines are going to expand and be a little bit soft, okay? Upgrading to an aftermarket clutch line upgrade like this from Mcleod will help to fix that issue for you, okay? So you can have quicker clutch response, a better clutch pedal feel to it, all right? This particular clutch line upgrade from Mcleod, you can order it with just the fittings on the end as a replacement, and then they do offer this really neat one here with a bleeder, okay? Because you do have to properly bleed the system after installing a clutch on an 05 and up car, or else you're going to have a dead pedal. You know, it's not going to engage and disengage. And a lot of people, once after installing the clutch in an 05 and up car, the mechanic either use a vacuum pump on the master cylinder, or you got to pump your pedal 1,000 million times. Right? It's very hard to actually get that that line bled. Okay, this will make life easy for you. So if you guys are looking at it, it's a couple extra bucks to go with the one with the speed bleeder on it, but it's a very good upgrade to do, and we definitely recommend it, okay? So now again, going to the bearing itself, all right? This is a Mcleod hydraulic bearing. Depending on the year and model of your vehicle and what type of clutch it's using, there may be different size bearings, okay? Like the 07 to 09 GT500 uses a long bearing, where the 10 and up with a thicker assembly uses a shorter bearing. So you want to make sure when you're ordering the clutch accessories for your new clutch stuff that you do your research, ask us, and we can walk you through it to make sure that you have the right bearing, because if you put the wrong one in, the clutch is not going to work, all right? We also offer OEM Ford bearings too. We sell a lot of Mcleod and a lot of Ford OEM ones, and this is really, again, I can't stress enough, guys. You spending all that money to do the install and put a really nice clutch in there, okay? There's no sense in putting a clutch in with a bearing that's been in your car for 20, 30, 40,000 miles, okay? Put a fresh one in. They're not that expensive. This is going to make, life easier for you, because I see a lot of guys will install a clutch like the LPX or an RXT, and then shortly after that, their factory bearing was on the way out. It's not working right. It's not engaging properly. You could possibly damage or shorten the life of a clutch by not having a properly engaging clutch in there. Okay, so put a new bearing in, all right? It's good insurance for you guys. And again, either Mcleod or the Ford ones that we offer, the OEM ones, work very good, all right? I think for the most part, that's it. For the 05 and up stuff, it's very easy. You're not dealing with the whole clutch fork and a retainer sleeve and stuff like that. It's mainly going to be the hydraulic bearing itself. To me, it's a lot simpler on the 05 and up stuff than the 99 and 04 stuff. You don't have this clutch fork to deal with. You don't have a cable to deal with, a firewall adjuster, or a quadrant. It's very simple. You've basically got your slave cylinder right here. You got a pilot bearing, you get some flywheel bolts, and a high volume clutch line. It's a lot easier on the newer cars. But these are, again, stuff that we always recommend for you guys to do when swapping out that clutch on it for better performance and longevity on it. And if you guys do want more information on this, we have an awesome write-up on our website, lethalperformance.com/info/clutch 101. It's all there. Even clutch recommendations depending on the type of driving that you do and power level and everything else, whether you track the car or not. We've got a lot of great suggestions there, and always feel free to reach out to us direct if you have any questions. 561-753-8105. Lethal Jared, Mustang King, and I'm out. We've also got flywheel boats. Man, I'm thinking about going boating. You follow me? Okay, guys, let's discuss the 05 and up Mustang clutch and its accessories. What the happened there?